You want to hear how power really works in America? Here's how a 20-year career in law enforcement got obliterated in a matter of hours because one man thinking he was above the law picked the absolute wrong person to mess with. Picture this Captain Derek Sullivan, a guy who's built his whole identity on barking orders and demanding respect, storms across a federal courthouse parking lot, pushes through security like he owns the place, grabs a black woman by the arm and slams her against his patrol car in full view of cameras and junior officers. He's shouting about interfering with police business, pressing his knee into her back, convinced he's teaching her a lesson about authority, except the lesson's about to be his, and it's one he'll never forget. The woman, she's cool as ice. Captain, I am Federal Judge Rebecca Washington. You need to step back immediately. He laughs full of swagger until she rattles off his badge number, his supervisor's name, and the exact statute he's violating facts. Only someone with serious authority would know. That's when the ground beneath Sullivan starts to crack, though he doesn't feel it yet. In that one moment, he set off a chain of events so explosive it would unravel his entire world because he thought he was dealing with just another troublemaker. He was dead wrong. Now let me back up a sec so you get how these worlds collided. It's 8:47 on a muggy Atlanta night outside the Richard B. Russell Federal Building. Judge Rebecca Washington, 45 sharp as a blade with a reputation for fairness and nerves of steel, is heading to her Mercedes after a 14-hour day on a racketeering trial. She's got a briefcase full of sensitive files and the tired satisfaction of someone who knows she's doing meaningful work. 3 blocks away, Captain Sullivan is in a sour mood, feeling the pressure of budget cuts, low clearance rates, and a stack of complaints about his officers' aggressive tactics. He's an old-school show-'em-who's-boss kind of cop, and tonight's drug sweep is turning up nothing but paperwork. Then a call comes in. Suspicious activity near federal courthouse. Multiple individuals loitering. Sullivan groans. Federal property means more paperwork, more oversight, but a call is a call. Judge Washington, meanwhile, notices the cruisers and a knot of young men in the visitor lot. Something's off. The officer's body language is wrong, tense, aggressive. She watches as Sullivan rolls up irritated, surveying his officers, detaining what turn out to be courthouse staff. This is a waste of time, he mutters to his rookie Mike Torres, but decides to make a show of authority anyway. That's when Washington decides to intervene, locking her car and striding toward the scene. She asks in that unmistakable courtroom voice about the nature of the detention. Sullivan turns, sees a well-dressed black woman questioning him, and well, you can see it play out on his face. Every frustration, every prejudice, everything he's swallowed in 20 years comes boiling up. He's too blinded by ego to see he's about to punch above his weight. She holds her ground cool and calm. And that's when you realize she's not just any judge. She's a former civil rights attorney who's made a career out of holding departments like Sullivan's accountable. She knows every statute, every federal protocol, and she's not here to be intimidated. Her quiet authority starts to unsettle even Sullivan's officers. They notice how she's not flinching, how she knows their badge numbers, how she carries herself like someone used to controlling a room. There's a shift in the air, but Sullivan, wound up and feeling threatened, decides to escalate. Move along or you're going to find yourself in handcuffs, he growls, stepping right up to her. The courthouse employees watching from a distance are powerless to intervene. They know who she is, but can't warn these officers they're about to commit career suicide. Judge Washington names his badge number, points out that they're on federal property, and suggests there might be a jurisdictional confusion. That should have been Sullivan's cue to back down. But he's lost in his own narrative. He's the authority, and this woman's not respecting that. He has no idea that the person he's threatening is the one federal judge with the power to trigger protocols that'll blow the lid off his whole department. When she calmly explains the law he's violating, the younger officers start to get nervous. Martinez, the one with the body cam, is looking around, realizing every second of this is being recorded by federal security. Jackson, the veteran, shifts his hand away from his gun. But Sullivan's past the point of reason. He grabs her, shoves her against his car, case files spilling everywhere, cuffs out. That sound of the briefcase hitting asphalt might as well have been a gavel. The line had been crossed. What happens next is like a scene out of a thriller. Federal agents roll up black SUVs, tactical vests, weapons drawn but not aimed, just an unmistakable show of force. Supervisory Special Agent Maria Santos steps out and announces, "Release the individual immediately. Step away from the vehicle." Sullivan is stunned. He finally hears her name, Federal Judge Rebecca Washington. He stumbles back, suddenly white-faced hands shaking. Officer Torres helps gather the scattered files. Sullivan's world is crumbling and he knows it. Within minutes, protocols kick in, the U.S. Marshals, FBI, the Department of Justice, all activated. Lieutenant Commander Morrison Sullivan's old buddy shows up with the department's lawyer, expecting to smooth over a rough arrest. Instead, he finds a full-blown federal crime scene. He relieves Sullivan on the spot. Richardson, the attorney, tries to open a backdoor negotiation, but Judge Washington shuts it down. This is now a federal criminal matter. Now the real unraveling begins. FBI agent Walsh starts pulling Sullivan's files. 43 excessive force complaints, 27 allegations of racial bias, a string of lawsuits and internal investigations, all swept under the rug. A pattern emerges, one that shows not just a rogue cop, but an entire department that enabled him. Lieutenant Foster, Internal Affairs, is found to have squashed every complaint against Sullivan. He's arrested within hours, too. And here's the twist. One of Sullivan's own officers, Torres, decides to cooperate. He turns whistleblower, helping the feds build their case against Sullivan, Foster, and even Morrison. Now, it's not just about one assault, it's about a network of corruption stretching up the chain of command, all exposed because Sullivan couldn't see past his own arrogance for 10 lousy minutes. Judge Washington, meanwhile, isn't sitting back. She's working with federal agencies to rewrite the department's entire accountability structure: body cameras, independent review boards, automatic termination for officers with patterns of misconduct. Civil rights groups descend national media runs with the story. The mayor, the city council, even the state house gets dragged in. Federal legislation follows, with Judge Washington testifying before Congress, using her case as the example for sweeping police reform. Sullivan, left alone with nothing but time, sees his family disintegrate. His wife files for divorce. His pension is suspended. His friends walk away. He goes from untouchable to infamous, his name trending for all the wrong reasons. He tries to fight the charges, but the evidence is overwhelming. In the end, he takes a plea, 12 years in federal prison, everything he ever built gone in a flash, and not just him, Foster, Morrison, 17 other officers all caught in the fallout. The city spends millions on settlements and reforms, but what they get is a police department that becomes a model for accountability. Complaints plummet, public trust rises, and a new generation of officers actually trained in civil rights takes the field. Judge Washington, recognized as a hero, keeps pushing for deeper change. Her words inspiring legislation that brings reform to agencies across the country. And Sullivan. He learns the hardest way possible that in America nobody is above the law, not even a decorated police captain with 2 decades of cover and swagger. You want to talk about justice? Sometimes it takes one act of arrogance to reveal an entire system's rot. And sometimes it takes the right person in the right place to light the fuse. So what do you think was justice finally served? Is it ever enough? Let me know down in the comments what's your take on accountability power and who really holds it in our communities. If this story hit home, share your thoughts, subscribe for more. And remember, power unchecked is power abused, but even the highest badge isn't higher than the law.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những công việc của mình, là mình lên mạng xã hội tìm hiểu những...
It is cold, yeah. Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble, let somebody know. Please.
After the tree to hold on to.
Yeah, either or.
Use the fence.